Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And yesterday, President Biden absolutely destroyed the Republican Party and called Marjorie Taylor Greene out by name. So we all remember President Biden's State of the Union speech, right? And I'm sure we all remember the specific moment in the State of the Union speech where Biden basically got the Republicans to publicly agree to not cut Medicare or Social Security. During his speech, he's talked about the fact that many different Republicans have proposed cutting Medicare and Social Security, and a lot of Republicans objected, saying, no, that's not true, we don't support that. So President Biden leaned in and said, great, I love conversion, I'm so glad you came to our side. Basically, he put the Republicans in a corner and tricked them into agreeing with his policy. Even though the Republicans agreed not to go after these programs on camera, that hasn't stopped them. They are still trying to cut these essential programs, but of course, Biden and the Democrats are not gonna let them. And in this speech that President Biden gave, he called out the Republicans and their continuing efforts to cut these programs, and of course, he called out the Republican antics during his State of the Union speech. It's an amazing clip. Take a look at it.
I've been around for a lot of State of the Unions. I never saw one where the president got to negotiate in the open with everybody. I was pleased to see so many Republicans stand up. Remember when Marjorie Taylor Greene was yelling, liar, liar, Biden's a liar? I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. We don't want to cut anything. When I asked, I said, okay, you don't want to cut anything. Everybody who says we're not going to cut Medicare or Social Security, when I asked them to join us and reject the cuts in Medicare, wasn't it something? They all stood up. They all stood up. And they're all on camera. Got all their pictures. Like I said, I believe in conversion. Maybe they found, as my grandfathers, maybe they found religion on Social Security and Medicare. I sure hope so, all kidding aside.
I just love when I see President Biden doing things like this. Like, he is just amazing at putting the Republican Party on blast. I love how President Biden went after Marjorie Taylor Greene without any name calling like the Republicans always resort to. He always calmly and intelligently goes after these Republicans without looking like a child, you know, like the former guy did. But aside from going after the Republicans and pointing out their clear hypocrisy, what President Biden did in this speech is very, very important. As I said earlier, Republicans are continuing to go after Medicare and Social Security and proposing that we cut them. I mean, just recently, former Vice President Mike Pence, and someone who absolutely wants to be president in the future, said that Medicare and Social Security should be on the table to cut in the future. And that is concerning. That's a very prominent Republican saying that these programs should be on the table and we should look at cutting them in the name of balancing the budget. There are tens of millions of Americans who use these programs, and these programs are crucial to them and their families. But of course, Republicans don't care. All they care about is cutting taxes for their wealthy donors. And you know, Republicans probably thought that they were going to get away with this after the State of the Union speech. They thought that the American people were going to forget about their efforts because they're on camera agreeing with President Biden not to go after these programs. But of course, leave it to the Republican Party to lie to the American people. They are still continuing these efforts, and President Biden pointing it out in this speech and in other speeches that he's given recently is so important, because you have these people who watch Fox News or Newsmax or OANN or other crazy conservative media outlets, and they will never know that the Republicans are coming after the programs that directly benefit them. But when the President of the United States, probably the most listened to person in this country, points out in multiple different speeches that Republicans are still going after these programs, your hope is that maybe these people will start to listen. With the 2024 presidential election under 2 years away, and as it looks more likely that President Biden will be running for re-election, it's so important to point out the Republican hypocrisy. And I can almost guarantee that in the campaign for the 2024 presidential election, President Biden and Vice President Harris will be hitting the Republicans on these issues, and they absolutely should. Not only are the Republicans coming after these crucial programs, but we also have to keep the crazies and the fascists out of office in 2024. Regardless, as long as President Biden is in office and Democrats remain in Congress, the Republicans will not be able to touch these programs. Anyway, folks, that's gonna wrap up the video for today. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I just really wanted to talk about this amazing clip. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And once again, whether you agree with me or you disagree with me, have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you folks soon.